So after the Beatles did the Ed Sullivan Show, kids got drums, guitars, played in garages because of those 4 guys.
Yep.
So you watch that performance and you just see Ringo swinging, cool as could be.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
And it all stems from that, that we all kind of, you know, to Tommy Lee doing his thing, to Tommy Aldridge doing his thing.
Yep.
It's all because of someone saw someone do something and they're like, bang, I want to do that.
Yep. I saw my uncle play, he had a bass drum when I was a wee tyke, and I remember going like, that's really cool. I grew up on a 118-acre farm in the middle of freaking nowhere in Pittsburgh. So my sister's 5 years older than me, so I would steal her records. We didn't have much money, so she'd have like Moving Pictures or Blizzard of Oz or like, you know, Ted Nugent, Leonard Skinner, all these like, you know, a lot of redneck rock. I'd literally wait till she would leave, steal her records and make a cassette out of it. So I'd hurry up, put them back just the way she had it, you know, and then, and I'd play drums to that, you know, and it was like a cassette case. I'd start hitting the cassette case in different spots to find a kick drum sound or the snare drum sound, make the cymbal sounds with my mouth, and it was pretty ghetto, but it worked, you know. It works. What made you want to go to the drums?
I don't remember a moment where I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that. I just remember that's it. That's what I did. Like I was little and I was banging on things, and then I remember across the street from us, there was a family that had 3 girls, and they had a band, and the oldest one played the drums. She was going away to college, so the band was gonna, that was it, they were done. So my dad went over there and offered them some money for the kit, and I was like 4 or 5 at the time, so I had this huge kit, but I could play it. And then I started taking lessons after that.
Nice.
It was because of the Beatles, I think.
Yeah.
Because I had 4 sisters, they were older. It's always your older brother or your older sisters. So they were listening to the Beatles, the Doors, the Monkees, all that stuff. So I was just absorbing it and just playing.
Playing to it, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember The Ventures being another one that I loved.
Oh, cool.
Just,
Yeah.
you know, that
Yeah, totally.
cool beat, you know.
But you're basically self-taught too then, right?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, I was as well. Did you go through high school band and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I did. That's when I started. I didn't know what a quarter note was until like 9th or 10th grade, and they're like, okay, here's, you know, but I always learned by ear. I never.
Me too.
Like I can read, but I don't like to read. I'd rather feel it and remember. Your memorization skills get a lot better because you're listening to so much music and you're absorbing it, and then you try to play along with it, and then your memorization skills pick up.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing, like when I was in junior high, that's when I was really into band at school. And we had these cool music teachers, 2 of them. They were 2 brothers, the Morris brothers. And they were kind of on the hippie side of things, but they were really cool. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to get out of math, you go down there and hang with them, and they'd say, well, he needed to come and practice this. You know,
Right.
It was that cool, and they would let you borrow drum stuff, take it home. So that's when I started to learn how to read music.
Yeah.
And then once you get in a band, that stuff just goes out the window because no one else really knew how to read, and you just forget it.
But it's good discipline because you're waiting, like, especially I remember like waiting for 32 bars for a timpani part. You're like counting, you're like, okay, it's coming, here it comes. Yeah, and if you're 1 bar off, conductor's yelling at you, but you don't realize it at a young age, but it's teaching you discipline for future, endeavors you're going to have, and that's huge.
You know, that's a good point, because even sometimes when we're playing live, your first song of the night, and sometimes you blow all your gas in that first song.
Yep.
And it's like, well, the second song is even harder than the first. So now you're like, oh man.
Yeah. I remember playing many times to Among the Living, and in high school. Like, I was a huge fan of Charlie's, and that's stamina and dexterity right there, and it's all power. There's not a lot of dynamics.
It's
just you go. You're on 10. So
when you're playing, are you like making an effort to put more, show into the playing, or is it just natural?
I got really into marching corps at the end of high school, and it was a lot of like the, crazy, like we had to do this for like 5 minutes straight.
It looks
You're
cool.
holding, and while you're going da-da-da-da-da-da-da with one hand, and you're just like, and you had to twirl between every finger. So like this finger, that finger, that like that, your thumb. I mean, it was our core guy was hardcore. He just got out of the military. Something wrong up here. He was like, you guys will get here an hour before the band, you'll leave an hour after the band. We're like, what? Yeah. I always had this thing where like, and I was into the Tommy Lees and all the visual. I thought it was cool looking, it was kind of, but I never got into the whole twirly thing. It never really was my bag. When I joined David Lee Roth, he goes, I don't want you just sitting in the back. You're part of the band. They're paying money for a show. Give them a show.
Shine.
Do your. So it never left my head like that. I'm like, I don't give you shit if you're in the back, kid. Make it. If the person in the 50th row can say the drummer was pretty cool tonight, then you're doing your job. Everyone's always like, man, you're pretty animated. You're pretty. It's just what I feel. I play like I feel. I don't try to be like, I hope everyone's watching me. Check this out. Check this. It's just this is what I feel inside me, and that's what. If it comes out, I look like I'm hitting like a baboon. Then oh well, To me, I always hated like the boring rock drummer that like had that waiting for the bus look on his face. Sitting back there, you can just see the boredom on his face, and you're just like, man. Right. If I go to see a show like that, I'd rather stay home and listen to the record. Like, you're there for live entertainment. You can never replace live entertainment. You can steal records. You can steal our records, kids, but you can never replace live entertainment.
That's
ever.
right. Damn kids. Like, when we first started doing shows, I was very, how could I put this? I didn't want to be seen.
Interesting. Why is that?
I think it was just, I felt secure back there in my own world, so I would put the toms really high.
Wow.
I didn't care.
Wow.
Is
Did
basically
you have the Nico thing going on where you're like behind the?
Basically, after having a few conversations with other drummers because I was having difficulty, and they said, well, so you're reaching for stuff, and what you should do, there it goes.
More natural,
There it goes. Lower your, I did that, and then my plane it went from here to there. So everybody could see me now.
Yeah.
But now I got to deal with seeing them too. And I was like, uh-oh, raise everything up.
Right. Oh, we got smoke machine now? Kick ass.
See, that's awesome.
I was just, this is awesome, man.
Back to David Lee Roth.
Totally, man. Zippity Bobby comes out of the smoke. I'm here, fellas. What can I do for you?
Last year I had surgery. I had the carpal tunnel surgery, and I've been putting it off for about 10 years or more. But I couldn't play a show anymore because about 3-4 songs into it, my hand would go completely numb.
Wow.
I couldn't feel a stick.
Hardcore.
In between songs, I'd be shaking it off, doing this, just to get through the show. Dip my hand in ice. I even had a can of the air, it gets all frozen.
Yeah.
And so finally I was like, you know what? I feel now is the time that I could do this, and did the surgery, and about 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I was playing again.
Do you think it's like just from wear and tear? Do you think it's a technique thing? What do you think?
My right hand gets a lot of use.
Yep.
But after playing for you do like so many shows a year.
Right.
Something's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's we're not 22 anymore, so it's like, knock on everything. I've never had that problem. I've had like shoulder stuff, and I've had like, we both don't play light, so especially when you're bashing like that. I mean, I used to teach at a music school part time. I had students that were 22. That same thing. They'd be playing, and the stick would go flying out of their hands, and they wouldn't even realize it. Turns out that they were one was a roofer, and all day long he's smacking a hammer. I used to think it was bad technique because I had a lot of drum students that would just hang on for dear life, and they'd grip super tight. And I'm like, you got to relax, And one of my teachers was Jeff Porcaro's dad, from Toto, and he was awesome with me because he's like, God bless you, kid. Look at you. You got all this rage and anger in you. He goes, you got to relax. You're gonna die. He's like, just here, what? And he's the one that taught me to grip more in the fulcrum. He goes, you can get power and volume without trying to kill it.
Right.
And he's the one that really, and it took me a couple years to really understand what he was talking about, the whole whipping and the molar motion, but it's helped me, It's weird, man. This is all we do.
Yeah. Like when you're growing up, you look at other drummers and they just look like they're killing it. So of course you adapt to that.
Yeah, totally.
And that's it, caught up to me.
Yeah.
But now, thank God, knock on wood.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I'm okay. I can play. Oh, sorry.
Can we talk about how you guys fit into the writing process of your bands?
Just go ahead and say it. Are we musicians? Go ahead. Just ask us. No. Just because we hit stuff. It's interesting with Korn, with my band now, because I was a hired gun for many years on a lot of different things. So I was a session guy, so I would just show up, learn someone else's material, and just play, get my paycheck, and bail. But it's awesome to get, like, you know, come up, and I'll just be checking my drums one day, and Monkey will go, whoa, whoa, what was that? And I'm like, nothing, I'm just playing this pattern. He's like, wait, and he'll step on a pedal, and next thing you know, we got this interesting groove going.
Yeah.
And then Fieldy doesn't play with me at all. Like, he's the first bass player I ever played with where he's like, I don't want to play with your kick drum, which is odd because most rhythm sections you lock with the kick drum. He's like, I'm going to play around what you're doing. And so it's interesting, right, with my band, because it's all over the place, you know what I mean? But next thing you know, it kind of does this.
And
you know?
it makes something.
Yeah, and it's cool, like watching these roots grow into this thing, and it blossoms, and then when Jonathan comes in and puts his vocals on, you're just like, whoa, I can't believe it came out of that. How does your band write?
Usually I'll come up with the basic framework for a song, send it to everybody. They like it, we get together, you know, we arrange it, we put it together. Scott writes lyrics to it. We all get together again, put some melodies, you know, Joey comes in, and then it becomes that, you know? For me, I'm a drummer. I'm a guitar player trapped in a drummer's body. It's always a riff in my head at some point during the day, and I'll either hum it, you know what I mean? I used to leave myself messages before we had these great iPhones, you know?
Yeah.
I would sing, people would look, what is he doing?
Yeah.
I'll be in my car, but I'm always looking for that riff.
Yeah. I know a lot of drummers that make their living and they don't write at all. And I think it's really important for drummers to pick up other instruments.
Absolutely.
It opens your whole world up.
And plus, you know, there's a lot of guys who are just basically lazy. And it's like, you know, the performance live is, to me, secondary. The best part for me is in the studio creating. That's when it's exciting.
Yeah.
Because when you're playing live, you're just playing that song again.
Right.
Let's face it, you're playing this, we've played songs, how long now?
Yeah.
30-something years playing the same song.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But on the other side, if I go see Rush and Neil Peart changes up a fill in the song, I'm like, what the hell?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It ruins my whole day.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes in the studio when there's like, let's say you have this part in a song and it is challenging and you know you're gonna have to adapt it live in order to make it work.
Yeah.
You know? Because in the studio you could do 1,000 takes of it and you can try it different ways, but when you gotta play it live, that's it.
Yeah.
I gotta hit this.
Right. And you see people air jamming or air drumming
To that
thing because they know the song. So that's
And here it comes.
Yep.
So, you know, in the studio you could play the song, like I said, 1,000 times, but live, I gotta hit this right.
Yeah. There's one off of the last Korn record, Paradigm Shift. It's called Love and Meth, and there's a fill that I do that it's a pretty vigorous motion exercise. You know, it's just a pattern, like it just goes to 16th, but it's like down the toms. But when you're full throttle and you're slamming, when that fill comes up, I'm like, man, I should have maybe thought about doing something a little simpler because it's a lot. But sure enough, I look down and I see a drummer doing this.
It's a hook.
Yep.
There's a part in one of these new songs we're writing, and there's a similar fill like that, except what I'm doing is going from 14/12, 13/10.
Nice.
So it's like,
Yep.
I just know I'm gonna screw that up somewhere along the line. So it's like,
Right. And you're more focused when you're in the studio. You're concentrated, you're live, the adrenaline's going. And sometimes that gives you more amp to do stuff. But then sometimes you're thinking like, oh wow.
Oh, did this ever happen to you where you screw up the fill one night and then the next night, here it comes again, and you remember the night before?
Yeah.
And you get up again.
And it's more messed up about my band because Jonathan Davis, he's a really good drummer. He's a drummer first, and then he's a singer. Right. You know, he literally plays to my drums. Like if you listen to his wedges, there's not any guitar. There's guitar in the side fills. So he plays to me. And so if I have an off night, it's so funny because he's the coolest guy on the planet. But he'll come over to me and go, "Hey man, are you off tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, dang it, like, because he knows everything. Like, if he plays to me, if he says that to me the next night, I'm like, okay, I can feel where I was like, man, I got to get some good sleep, you know? It's like.
But it doesn't even matter if it's good sleep or not.
No.
It's mental.
It's in your head.
Yeah.
Yep.
In our band, too, it's me and Scott.
Yeah.
We play off each other.
Right.
And the same with, like, even Lars and James, they play off each other.
Yep.
And the bass is just somewhere
Yeah,
there.
there.
Whereas different bands like, let's say, Iron Maiden or something.
Oh man,
it's locked in with
it's
the.
locked in. Yeah, totally.
But with us, it was always rhythm, guitar,
Yeah.
drums. You know.
Scott's rhythm's so insane. Yeah.
And it's got to be really tight in order to make it work.
So my last band, Army of Anyone, has the Stone Temple Pilot members, Dean and Robert DeLeo. And Robert DeLeo is such a strong bass player that he kind of leads the timing and the band. Like, I can tell if I had too much coffee that day or from jet lag, because like he'll be like, "Hey, whoa, like, lay it back," you know, because he's such a strong voice in that band, in SDP as well, you know. So Fieldy now, he plays around me so much that I just kind of like plow right up the middle. You know what I mean? Everyone kind of does their own thing, and we just hope it locks every night. I got the David Lee Roth gig, and Dave's like, "It doesn't look tough enough. Put 2 kick drums up there, kid. What are you doing?"
It's like,
Right.
Yeah, I'm bleeding. But how could you not play without blood?
Yeah, you gotta bleed sometime, man.
That's awesome.